C'est bon.
Okay, c'est bon. So first of all, can you just introduce yourself and tell me where you're from?
My name is Isabel Bottoms. I'm from Wales in the UK.
And can you tell me what you think about this question of local solutions for green societies?
Local solutions, I feel, are one of the key aspects of the way that we tackle the climate crisis, sustainability crisis, biodiversity crisis, everything basically. But I believe in a local, national and international action, and so local is a key important part to get everybody feeling like they're part of the solution, actually changing their lives, so that it's not a top-down thing, so that it's a positive change rather than a negative kind of imposition on people.
Great. Do you have any advice for UNESCO about what we can do to support local action and local solutions for these green societies?
I think there are many, well, I'm talking from a UK perspective in particular. There are lots of local NGOs, national NGOs, which are amazing at getting people involved in transforming their towns, cities, local societies. Like Transition Towns is one really amazing example, and I think UNESCO can add to those things, but it would be good to just build on what they've already created rather than starting a whole new network, because Transition Towns is forming very close communities which are very effective at what they do, and it's intergenerational as well, and I think youth are obviously key in going forward, but they have to, as part of communities who live in harmony with other generations, it has to be intergenerational equity incorporated into what we do. So I think UNESCO would be a great coalition forming body and has maybe the funding to take some things further. But in the UK anyway, there's a lot going on already. So.
Great, thank you very much. Do you have any ideas that came to you perhaps in the session this morning, things you might go back and do or things that you might change the way you're doing based on the session we had?
No,
okay.
if I'm honest.
Can you tell us more about the youth delegation to Rio?
Okay, I don't know all the details actually.
Just a little bit.
It stems from, there's a very active group of self-organising young people who go to the UN climate negotiations, so the UNFCCC, and there's probably near on 1,000 or so that go, especially to COPs, and out of that has developed another kind of set of youth who actually were at Rio, Rio was it 10 years ago?
So they're not so young.
Well, there's a mixture because there's people who've been going since they were like 14 and stuff like that, but it's generally like a self-organising group of young people that have enlisted more young people over the years, and through our involvement at the UN climate negotiations have developed a very effective way of engagement with our own governments and the Secretariat of the UN and just the process in general. So there will be a group going to Rio+20. There'll be a conference of youth beforehand, organised by young people for young people, and basically the idea is everything is done by consensus, so everyone has ownership over the decisions and the campaigns and the tactics that we use in lobbying and encouraging in the right direction. So that's generally the group that will be going, and we organise online and through e-lists and Facebook.
Great. Okay, last question. You were talking a lot about self-organizing groups. Do you think it's useful for UNESCO to be organizing things like we talked about this Facebook group, or do you think it's better that UNESCO reinforce work that youth are leading? How do you see that relationship between youth organizations and UNESCO?
I think UNESCO has a huge capacity to lend the ear of policymakers and decision makers to us, because as much as we fight for them, as much as we fight to be heard, and often we are effective, but it takes a lot of effort and a lot of resources and a lot of time that necessarily takes away from my studies or whatever else. So adding to the voice, I think, is an amazing proposition, and I think would be, as long as it's not constricting, I think it would be a fabulous addition, firstly, and secondly, I think it's worth having lots of different aspects to what we do. So obviously, if UNESCO decided to have its own youth delegation or something to Rio, that would be great, but I think it would inevitably end up joining in with the young people who are already there, so maybe it is worth doing as you suggested and just joining forces basically, which I think would be really important for us to have. We have NGOs on board already, so UNESCO on board would be fantastic. And I think the Youth Forum here might contribute slightly, but I think it may be the best option that it has is a networking event and the possibility to kind of direct people to us, if you see what I mean, because at the moment sustainability doesn't seem to be a focus of people who are here, and it's not something that's been necessarily emphasised. So I'm not sure about the outcomes of this in relation to Rio+20, but we'll see.
Great, thanks very much. Ça va?
Très bien.